Welcome to Listeners Beware, a podcast about all things Goosebumps. My name is Gary.
And I'm Ashley.
And today we are talking about book number 12.
Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
So this is the 12th book in the original Goosebumps book series. And I believe, if I am correct, it was published in October of 1993. So, Gary,
Yes.
what is Be Careful What You Wish For about? Give us the synopsis.
Make a wish. Samantha Bird is a klutz, an accident waiting to happen. She's the laughingstock of the girls' basketball team, and that mean, rotten Judith Bellwood is making her life miserable on and off the court. But everything's about to change. Sam's met someone who can grant her 3 wishes, for real. Too bad Sam wasn't careful what she wished for, because her wishes are coming true, and they're turning her life into a living nightmare.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
Okay, so I thought that I had read Be Careful What You Wish For, and it's possible I had. But reading this book, this, current time, I don't remember any of it.
And it's funny because I didn't think I had read this one, but as I read it, I was like, oh, this one. So we got the flip response here.
I definitely remember the cover, the original cover. That's one you don't forget. Probably I saw it in the Scholastic magazine or something.
Yeah.
But I don't think I actually read it because none of it rang a bell to me.
Yeah. And this is an odd cover because it's one of the 2 not designed by Tim Jacobus.
Now, later they did do re-releases, and he did do one of the re-release covers, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
He designed it.
Yeah, and
I actually like that one.
I do too. It's really nice. You sent it to me and you're like, look at this cover. And I'm like, I have been.
You're all, it's swoon-worthy. So, and then of course we come to find out it's like, oh, that's Tim Jacobus. Yeah, all right, that makes sense. That tracks.
He got to fix the error that was not doing the original, which I think I read that he was on vacation, so he couldn't do it. So they hired Stanislaw Fernandez?
That'll teach you to go on a vacation.
Yeah, right. Although I do love the color palette.
The pink.
Pink and the purple.
You see the crystal ball, and for some reason the crystal ball is cracked and there's smoke coming out of it. I have no idea why they went with that direction because in the story there is no cracking crystal ball.
Right. Well, in the episode, there's not even a crystal ball. So I guess
we'll get to that. I have a problem with that. We will get there.
I figured we might.
So we're introduced to Samantha Sam Bird, and she's tall, she's clumsy, she's a klutz, which I can totally relate because me on 2 feet is never a good thing. Mm-hmm. It just doesn't work out. She's tripped and humiliated by Judith, who is quite frankly on par with RL's theme of super bullies.
Yes.
And I don't mean she's a great bully, but she's a great bully. She's
a great villain.
She's an intense bully.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she is a great villain. Did you find it weird though that he really had an emphasis on describing the teachers and calling them by their first names?
I found that very strange.
And this was the 90s, and sure, things were kind of, outrageous and totally tubular, but I don't recall any school that did that. And he seemed to really highlight it throughout the book.
Oh, he was pushing it.
He was. And I'm like, is he just living out a fantasy? He wanted as a kid to be able to call adults by their first name. And he's like, we're doing it. This is the one, guys. This is the book. It's happening.
Yeah, no, it struck me as very strange. And it honestly, it was more proper nouns than I needed. Because, I kept forgetting who was who. Because there were so many names thrown at me because of all the teachers and then the children. And it's just wait, which one is this again?
Right. There were some awesome pop culture references, though, that I enjoyed. For example, in the home ec classroom scene, when Judith intentionally, trips and drops her tapioca pudding all over Sam's shoes. It's not just Sam's shoes. It's Sam's new blue Doc Martens.
Yeah.
Which docs are expensive. Whether it was the 90s, the 2000s, or even now, they've always been pricey because they're leather. So I was like, how dare you, Judith?
She may have been klutzy, but at least she was rich.
Or maybe that's why she was so mad, because
be.
like it's rare that she had an item like that, and then here comes Judith.
Mm-hmm. Judith.
Ruining the dogs. And I like it because as a kid during that time, as a 12-year-old, I think the docs had kind of a higher value. Like, not value, but just they were harder to come by. You didn't see a lot of kids that had docs, especially at 12 years old. And so any kid would have experienced that scene and been like, clutching their pearls. Like, I cannot believe you, Judith. How dare you? So we could all relate why then Sam would, full out strangle Judith, which was excessive in my opinion. Like, again, RL went in on that scene and he really described her intensely strangling Judith.
Yeah. This is book number 3 with intense strangling. Second back to back even.
He likes to strangle.
I'm learning that. Wow.
Choke me if you can. So we've got her strangling Judith, but for how intensely murderous that was, and she even references, oh my gosh, I'm gonna go to jail. He kind of glosses over it afterwards. Oh, well, the teacher, Miss Daphne, she just had to shake it off and apologize to each other, and then we went upon our day. I'm like, what? If I throttled another student in class, like choke the shit out of him, I don't think it's just, all right, guys, hug it out. Yep. I'll see you later. Give me some brownies.
Yeah, we didn't meet the principal or learn their name.
Nope.
Thankfully.
Thankfully. There were too many names to keep up with.
Yeah. It would be like Daphne. And I'm like, who's Daphne?
You're like, zoinks. Wrong story. And, we've got Lackey to Judith. We've got Anna. And they're just really mean, really bullies. And I think he plays up that bullying kind of viciousness from Judith, especially, to a disappointing end, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're going to villainize someone that much, you should kill him or something. No, I'm kidding. Okay, don't kill them.
At least maim
But
them.
There should be more consequences that they learned, or something to their story arc other than they just stayed rotten through and through and throughout. So it's like, really? You're going to... And he seems to do that, though, because even the boys in The Ghost Next Door, the 2 bad kids, they didn't seem to learn anything. They're just like, oh, gosh, we didn't mean to, and off they run. Tra-la-la.
Yeah.
Never to be heard from again until their prison years.
Not to get too far ahead, but at the end of this book, the villain kind of wins, which is crazy.
The villain absolutely wins. And it's like, RL, what the hell's wrong with you?
Right.
This is for 12-year-olds. We're supposed to build hope before the world breaks them down, not break them down at 12. But Sam's upset. She gets humiliated in basketball. She gets the wind knocked out of her because Judith accidentally knees her in the chest. And so she takes off and, riding her bike furiously through the rain, through the wind, to the forest, and stumbles across, the Witch of the Woods.
Yes, the Crystal Lady.
Clarissa the Crystal Woman. Yes. And how dare they demonize crystal women? Because, there's nothing wrong with women that love crystals.
No.
But she's lost. She's coming across a bit senile. The thing I loved is when she's being described, it's like Sam can't figure out this lady's age. She's like, I feel like she's old, but she looks really young. I have no idea. What did she say? She could be 20 or 80 and I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
It's like, that's quite an age gap to not know.
That's how people describe me usually.
It's probably how 12-year-olds see adults.
Yeah, right.
Like,
well, no,
you're 50, right?
Absolutely.
I'm 24.
When I saw 40-year-olds as a child, I was like, this person's old. But now I see, 40, 50-year-olds and I'm like, oh, they're not. But it's also fashion, right? In the 90s, people just dressed old, you know?
The mom jeans are coming back though with the dumpy butt.
Oh,
So
yeah. Yeah. I was
it's kind
in
of funny when I see 17-year-olds wearing them. I'm just like, oh my gosh. If only you knew.
I was in Target earlier, and they have a style of women's jeans called 94 baggy. And I'm like, cool.
Cool.
94 was my favorite year.
I exercise like crazy. So you best believe I'm going to show this apple bottom jeans off. No, I'm kidding. Okay. So she takes this crystal woman into town because this lady is so far out of the way that, she needs help getting back to where she needs to be, I suppose. And Samantha, our friend Bird, is, kind enough to escort her through the rain, through the storm. So this lady does what any person does and is like, thank you for helping me. I'm going to grant you 3 wishes.
That old chestnut.
And of course, like that's as one does. You helped me. You're such a kind kid. Here's 3 wishes.
Yeah. I mean, and I think Sam responds reasonably to this.
She does. I loved how RL wrote her response.
Mhm.
She had an adequate level of stranger danger, apprehension, and like, oh man, this lady's insane.
Yeah. Yeah. Healthy skepticism.
Yes. I do like that he wrote her not being quite so naive.
Yeah. I mean, compared to our last Carly Beth, who did not like react or respond like a human being at all most of the time. I feel like Sam is pretty well rounded in that way.
And maybe that speaks to the level of bullying that
Yeah.
she's gone through. She kind of has to stay on guard and a bit more grounded,
Mhm.
right? And so I could see that. The thing that I loved is that she was looking for an escape route. She's like, I wonder if I, run to this neighborhood and that street, will I be able to get there in time? Or is this crazy lady going to chase me before I get there? Like, I don't know. I liked it. I liked her thought process because that would have been me.
Yeah.
That would have been my thought process.
Oh, 100%. I would have been looking for every possible exit the whole way there. And I probably wouldn't have even gotten her all the way there. I would have been like, all right, I'm sketched out. Bye.
You're weird. Gotta go. Just keep heading that direction. You'll get there. You can't miss it.
You can't.
And good luck.
Yeah.
But, she ends up making the wish out of desperation. And you feel badly for her because, like, her wishes are based on trying to not be bullied. Her first wish is, I want to be the best player on the team because she's tired of being made fun of and maybe she wants her peers to accept her and be kind to her. That backfires, obviously.
Yeah. A little bit.
Everybody on the team got COVID.
Oh, no.
I mean, the way they described it, like they're so weak.
I know.
They can't move. They're feeble. They can't explain it. Some kind of maybe flu.
Right. COVID-93 it was.
Right. And she shows actual guilt for that.
Yeah.
To the point where she's calling Judith. She's going to Judith's house. Judith is still a really mean girl.
Mm-hmm.
But she feels guilty and is trying to make it right.
Right. I like this wish probably most of all of them in terms of what she said versus how it played out. Like, I thought that this landed pretty darn well.
This was the most creative twist on the wish out of all 3, in my opinion, as well.
Yeah.
I do think that, well, the third one was pretty spot on. It was quite literal. I liked that this was like devious in a way. Ooh, the wording got played against you. Whereas the other one was just spot on, but magnified times like 30.
Right.
So she becomes the best player on the team just because the other players become the worst.
Because of COVID-1993.
Because of COVID-1993, they can't stay awake. They have no energy. They feel drained. They feel awful. They're sweating profusely. I'm like, yeah, that tracks. COVID-93. So, yeah. And she feels badly. She goes to visit Judith. And, of course, Judith gets her riled up because she's screaming at her that she's a witch.
And I'm not sure that Judith is completely out of left field here. I mean, it is kind of weird that, she's the one player who is not sick, but to jump to witch is a little extreme.
I mean, there was no other explanation.
Yeah.
And so I feel Judith already hated her. And so by everybody else being sick and not her, and she's gloating, she's laughing, she's smiling, she's ha ha ha. How are y'all feeling? I feel great. Yeah. I mean, Judith's reaction is probably a bit appropriate.
Yeah.
I don't know if you scream at someone in your home, especially if you do think they're cursing you and that they're a witch, if you truly believe that you're going to go that hard and be like, you witch,
Right.
you witch, and go off.
She exerted 4 days worth of energy in that like 12 seconds.
And the poor mom's like in there, I'm so sorry. She's just been a little crazy. This illness is getting to her. I'm like, no, Mom, your child is a jerk, and this is just appropriate behavior for her. This is also probably the first book that RL wrote a non-annoying sibling.
That's true.
I think it was the first older sibling too, right? All of the other siblings are younger, I believe. And this is the first one where he didn't even give the sibling an age. Usually we get an age like Noah is 8
Right.
or something like that. But in this case, it was just like Ron, my older brother. And I'm like, Ron Weasley.
Ron, how old are you? No, I think the brother in Seichi's was older.
Oh, that's
but I
right.
think he's the only one.
And that's right. He was an older brother as well.
But I actually did kind of pause when she said my older brother in this, and I was like, wait, what?
I think we were given an age for that brother too.
Yeah.
I feel like this is the first time where it was just my older brother.
Mm-hmm.
I liked their relationship.
It was nice.
The fact that he was trying to teach her how to play basketball. He was still like, hey, I got to focus on school, but I'll hang out with you. We'll play ping pong. We'll play basketball. Like, it seems like a healthy sibling relationship, which we don't see a lot of in RL's books.
We don't. He was a jock and a nerd, it seems. He was
yeah. I feel like, though, written from her perspective, that tracks.
Right.
Because that's oftentimes how we see our older siblings, right? If we get along with them, we kind of like hero worship them a little. So it's like, they're great at everything. They're great at sports and athletics. And like the list goes on. And then as you get older, you realize, oh, maybe that's not true. Mom's like, really? Your brother flunked out of school. Oh, really? Oh, shoot. I could have sworn they were straight A students. I think that just goes to when we put our older siblings on, pedestals, and maybe that's not exactly how it is.
Right.
And, after she goes to Judith's house and Judith is like screaming for the witch hunt, Sam gets very mad and makes another impulsive wish, hoping that Judith would disappear. Now, that could have gone a few ways. Honestly, I would have liked versus everybody disappearing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like that was a stretch. Like, she said Judith disappear.
Yeah.
That was pretty specific. I don't feel like that's a be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
And the wording, because the wording was very specific. I feel like the way they could have twisted that to make it fulfill that wish specifically, but also be like, ooh, what a twist, would be if she took her eyesight away. Because then she can't see Judith.
Oh, man, that's good. Oh.
I was hoping that's the route he would have gone. Like, oh, no, you just can't see anymore.
Right.
That was my hope when I was reading this, because I don't believe I actually have read this one before. So that was my hope. When she said that, I'm like, oh, please take her eyesight away. Because that would be creative, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, Judith disappeared. I cannot physically see her. But this whole like, well, I made the whole world disappear. In general, like they just don't exist anymore. It's like, wait a minute, that's a stretch.
That really bothered me too. Like I had to flip back just to read the verbiage to be like, wait, did she say something that would even allude to this? And she did not.
She did not.
So
Exactly.
Ugh.
That's where my thing was. Is like I always love in these kind of, because this isn't the first time a book or a movie or anything has played with the idea of wishes gone wrong and
Hmm.
careful wording.
Yeah,
Like we had talked about previously, Wishmaster.
correct.
That gets gory creative on the wishes
Yeah.
and deadly.
Oh yeah.
And so you're used to a specific element being twisted, but I feel like with that one, I'm like, nah, you reached on that one.
Yeah. Yeah. Your idea is much better than what we got.
Thank you. I mean, it is like, don't get me wrong, it is more terrifying for a kid to wake up and the entire world's gone.
Mm.
That is terrifying. Parents gone and animals gone and everything gone. Like there is nothing going on. Even all of the animals in the world, or like any living thing, literally disappeared.
Right.
And that is terrifying. So I see why he may have went that route just to build that terror, but I feel like if he wanted to go that route to build that terror, maybe he should have changed the wish just a bit, like the verbiage of it.
Yeah. And I would also say that that's the only terrifying part of this book is this particular sequence. Like the rest of it is.
I don't know. The end's kind of alarming.
Well, yeah. Yeah. Besides that, but like this is the most gripping part, even though it's the part that kind of sucks the most, just in terms of delivery. And it almost makes me wonder if he had a different second wish, but like it was too far, so they made him change it or something.
It was a reach.
Yeah.
I don't know how the wish could have been said differently, though, to where the world would still disappear.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
I don't know if it's, oh my gosh, I wish, I never existed, or I wish everyone would just go away or something, like whatever. But like this idea that like, I wish Judith would disappear, that's super specific. Now, I know he tried to create like a loophole for that by having Clarissa say, well, you just can never tell with magic. That was the best way I could fulfill that wish.
Yeah.
And I'm like, really? Because I feel like if you can make everyone disappear, you can make one person disappear. I feel like it takes less magic to make one person disappear versus the entire world of living things.
Especially when that one person is specifically called out in the wish. It's like,
exactly.
Come on.
Because I think she even says, like, that wasn't my wish. And Clarissa's just like, I know, I fulfilled it the best way I could. And you really just magic's unpredictable, which, not wrong.
Yeah.
Not wrong at all. But again, I feel like it takes less magic to make one person disappear than the entire world.
I agree.
Like, really? That's the best way you knew how to fulfill that? How about just make the person named disappear?
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. And the way Clarissa was written in the book didn't feel devious.
No.
And so for me, it's like, I know she wasn't, or I believe she wasn't intentionally messing up the wishes.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I'm just like, I'm not buying that, Clarissa. Clarissa is not explaining it all.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, Grammar is the true villain in this story.
Except that one. That was very precise.
Except that one. Yeah, that was that was the one time Grammar did good. Unlike the grammar I just used.
All of her other wishes were wonky and all over the place. This is the one wish where she was spot on, and this is the one that like got her in trouble the most. I don't know.
I know.
The entire world's gone.
This really bothered me, but I did like the storytelling element of it.
It definitely was her riding through town and trying to find people and then going home and like having a logical breakdown. Mm-hmm. It wasn't pure emotion driven. It was logical. Like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do when the food runs out?
Right.
Like, what do I do when this happens? Do I rob the store? Is that illegal because nobody's here? Like, it's like, oh my gosh, she's having an actual logical process here going on.
Yeah.
So, I liked her style.
As she's sobbing and eating a peanut butter sandwich.
As one does. Although I was like, really, where's the jelly? Come on, Sam.
Oh, come on.
So, of course, Clarissa's like, okay, well, give me your third wish. And Sam, of course, can't leave well enough alone versus just undo it all. It's undo it all and make Judith think I'm the greatest person in the world. Because again, that's her insecurities and the bullying rearing itself, right? It's not just bring me back to my regular life. It's take it back, but please make my bully nice to me. Which is sad if you think about it.
A little bit.
It's a little bit sad.
Yeah, but I think we both knew where this one was going.
Oh, absolutely. As soon as she said that, I'm like, really? Make Judith think I'm the greatest person in the world. I'm like, you done fucked up, Sam. You saw what happened when Judith disappeared. Mm-hmm. It went way left field, and you really want to play with that one. Okay. So she gets a new stalker.
Right.
Who copies her hairstyle, copies her outfits, sneaks into her house and hides in her closet until the middle of the night.
That part was weird.
You think? It's worrisome.
A lot. I really liked the idea of her hero worshiping Sam, just the haircut and all that. I was like, this is getting fun. And then when she broke into her house, I was like, this is not fun anymore.
What I do like is Judith's personality changed in terms of like her obsession with Sam, but she was still herself. So when Anna started picking on Sam and saying all sorts of things, Judith got bugged. Oh, Judith attacked her. So we have creepy girls sneaking into the house and falling asleep. Heavy air quotes there. Falling asleep in the closet, waiting to, make her presence known until everyone's gone to bed. And then it's like, hey, I thought we were going to study. You said we were going to study. What's up with that? And it's like, uh-oh. Sam, you in trouble. Yeah. This is going to get like single white female femme fatale really fast.
I was thinking Misery, It's like, watch your ankles.
The cradle. Like, this is, watch your ankles. Yeah, it's going to get something. And it's not good. No. It's not going to get good. So, she sends her on her way. And then in the morning, guess who's waiting for her on her, front step or in the driveway? It's Judith.
Yay.
And of course, at this point, she decides to run.
Which is a logical response, I feel like.
Is it? I feel like that's a highly escalated moment there versus you need to leave me alone or, hey, mom, this is becoming a problem. Can you talk to her, mom? It's run as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man. So... Because throughout the book, they have been making all the bird references. Her last name is Bird, so it's always fly away, bird. Aren't you going to fly away? You should fly away. Mm-hmm. They always make the bird references because she's super tall.
Right.
And her last name is Bird, and she's just, kind of a mess.
Right.
So.
Well, when you're not good on your feet, running is probably not the response.
Probably not. So she tries to find Clarissa because she's hoping Clarissa will explain it all. And... Clarissa's like, you're so unhappy. I'll give you one last wish. I'll undo the last one and give you one more, which to me is very kind of Clarissa because she was very clear. You need to be careful of the words you're using. Be careful of your wishes. This is your last wish. And here she is. Fine. I will undo that one and give you another one because you're unhappy. And I don't want you to be unhappy because you helped me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was solid.
It was.
Clarissa, like... I see you. You're trying to be nice. Yeah. And what does this dummy do?
The dumbest wish possible. And Clarissa's even like, take your time. Don't fuck this one up.
Right.
Think about it.
Don't fuck it up. Take your time.
You idiot.
I love that. Don't fuck this one up. And what does she do?
She fucks it up.
Yeah. Because she does what she should have done, which is, I wish I'd never met you.
Yeah.
And Clarissa's like, okay, solid. And she's about to execute it. And then she's like, and I wish Judith met you. And it's like, really? You're going to give your number one bully, like this vicious girl, 3 wishes?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're doing? Oh, Sam.
Sam.
You really are a dumb bird. And now I see why Judith picks on you. No, I'm kidding.
Judith was right all along. No, she wasn't.
I mean,
but also, like, and this is something that we see as a through line where the hero of RL's stories, like, so quickly jump to, this is everyone's fault but mine. The amount of times that Sam is like, this is all Judith's fault. And it's like, nah, dummy, you made the wish. And this just proves how dummy she be.
You're so right. Every single book, they make bad choices and get themselves into these crazy pickles and blame everybody else.
Yeah.
Last book, it was Steve and Chuck's fault. And it's like, yeah, sure, it's easy to blame Chuck, but that's not, Chuck didn't bully someone into giving them a mask.
Mm-hmm.
Chuck didn't put on the mask.
Yeah.
You did that.
Right.
And in this instance, she made the wishes.
Mm-hmm.
And so she can't blame anybody but herself.
Right.
If she tries, it's everyone's fault. She blamed Clarissa.
Mm-hmm.
She blamed Judith. She blamed everybody. She even tried to blame Corey, her best friend, when he didn't want to help her.
Right.
And it's just like, it's not his responsibility to fix your mess.
Yeah.
It's your responsibility.
For sure. So there was that. And then there's also the fact that this is the second book in a row where apparently rules don't matter, because she was given 3 wishes, but she gets 4. Just like they could never take the mask off again, but they did. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like...
But they multiple times. This is true.
I'm getting
the
a little...
rules are breakable, bendable.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking for a little more strictness, RL. A little more structure.
Yeah, because if the rules aren't enforced, then there's nothing to fear in the rules.
Yeah.
Right? Because they're not, well, they're fallible. Mm-hmm. And so, I don't know. I feel you on that.
Yeah. But anyways, the final wish.
The first wish for Judith.
Yes.
Which makes you wonder what her other 2 wishes are.
I was just thinking that.
But we only know the first wish.
Mm-hmm. Which is? Oh, she wishes that bird would fly away, and she becomes a little bird. She eats a worm and flies off. Second book with worm eating.
Except this is a good one. She's happy to eat the worm and flies off. And I felt actually really disheartened at first when that happened. I'm like, our hero actually just straight up lost.
Yeah.
They lost to a bully. We've had some kind of like scary endings, but our hero's still the hero and still alive in some way. Mm-hmm. Even though there's like there might be an unhappy ending.
Right.
But in this case, it's like, oh my gosh, our hero lost.
Yeah. And the villain won. It's crazy.
But the more I thought about the ending, the more I percolated on it. I will say this. I still don't love that the hero won, because now Judith's got this superior and 2 more wishes to, run amok. Come on. But Sam, as we were introduced to her and introduced to the life she leads, she was very unhappy. There was nothing in her life that she was happy about. Everything was a trauma to her, and she just hated. She even said it at the beginning. I wish I could just ride my bike away and never come back.
Yeah.
At the beginning, she said that. I just want to keep riding and never look back. So at the end, I felt like it was kind of a nod to the beginning, when it's like she's going to fly away and never come back.
Yeah. That's good.
And that was her first wish. Even though she didn't make it to Clarissa, that was one of the things she said. I wish I could ride my bike and never look back.
I didn't even catch that. That's great. Fly high, free bird.
So, yep, she flew. She flew because she kept referencing she felt like she was flying on her bike. So in this case, she's literally flying, and she's never coming back.
Mm.
And she was happy. She didn't even care as a bird. She's like, "Oh, yum, a worm.
Yeah.
Off I go." And she felt free. The way he described her, she was pure bliss. And so it's like, oh my gosh, in this entire book, I feel like that was the only time she was actually happy.
Oh, man. That's kind of beautiful.
Her bully set her free.
Yeah. Wow.
Judah's still a dick.
Well, Judas, yeah, for sure. Take a shot. But
if she turned into a bird and flew away, do you think that somehow rewrote her story? So like she never existed because she's a bird.
I could see that being a possibility.
I don't know. I'm trying to fix RL's loopholes. No, it's plot holes. Just kidding, RL. You're amazing. Can be on our podcast.
I feel like I would have a lot of questions for him about the past 2 books if he came on.
If he wrote them. I'm kidding. Joking.
Whoa.
So joking. Shots fired.
Kill shot.
This girl is on fire. Fatality.
Yeah. Would this be an animality?
Ooh. I don't know. Because it's directed at RL and not the bird.
Oh, that's true. I just love to see, like the Mortal Kombat version of this.
Animality.
She just turns into a bird and flies straight through Judah's face.
Through her face. Not at her face.
Through it.
Through the face. I dig it. That needs to be an animation or some kind of drawing. Jacobus, get on it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So let's talk about the episode.
It's different. I don't know if it's different in a better way. There are things that I think feel a little more satisfying, like the second wish, especially.
What?
The buzz off and everyone turns into flies. Like, I feel like that kind of works a little better just based on the wish itself.
The wording. Yeah.
It's still a reach.
It's not as scary though.
Yeah.
Because like she wakes up and all is well and she's happy because she thought she undid her bad wish only to find out she did worse.
Right.
And in the build up to that terror, I thought was more exciting and more terrifying.
Yeah.
Whereas with the buzz off and everyone disappears, yes, it's startling and alarming, but she expects it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, oops, I said the wrong thing. My bad.
Yeah. So this one was written by Charles Laser, and Charles. I recognize his name from past ones, and I feel like he takes a lot of creative liberties with these stories.
They didn't have as much time. This was just one episode, so 20-something minutes. They didn't have as much time, so he had to be selective about what scenes. So I understand they couldn't do the whole town disappearing and her riding around to find them.
Yeah.
We see some of the basketball game. We see some of the bullying. We see the wishes come into play in some format. So I feel like it tried to stay as close as it could to the book within the time frame allotted.
Yeah.
But I don't like the creative liberties he took with some of the characters themselves, specifically Clarissa. Because in the book, she's more of a well-meaning magical figure, right? She's got this crystal ball, and it's like, oh, I'm sorry, magic is unpredictable. And maybe she had nefarious intentions, but it doesn't quite seem that way, especially by giving Sam the fourth wish.
Right.
She could have just been like, it is what it is. My hands are washed. And instead, it's like, okay, I will give you one more. I will undo the last one. But in this case, it's like in the TV episode, she was written pretty like mischievous.
Yeah.
She actually was. Even the way they dressed her and the like faces she made and like her borderline cackling. It's like, come on, man.
Right. Yeah.
She wasn't that bad.
And they changed the orb to a necklace.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you have thoughts, so lay them on me.
I know you have thoughts. I love that. I know you have thoughts. Well, my thoughts are it sucks.
I agree.
I don't understand why they did that.
Yeah.
Because it does nothing for the story to change it. And there's no budgeting reason behind it. Like a ball versus this crazy ornate weird necklace. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah. And she finds the necklace on the gym floor, which also makes no sense unless someone else dropped it after getting their 3 wishes. Otherwise, it would imply that this old lady was wandering around a high school, which is probably not legal.
You know, the way I interpreted that was, and I interpreted it this way in the book too, is that she used a lot of wish language before this lady arrived. Mm-hmm. And so I feel that she kind of compelled this magical being to her, because it's like you have this individual who basically manifested this wish giver, because it's just, I wish, wish, wish. And her language was very, I wish, wish, wish.
Yeah.
And all the wishes, which I get. She's unhappy. She's sad. She's bullied. She's humiliated and embarrassed. And all of these big, awful feelings. And she manifests this being that's like, well, I can give you your wishes, but there's a cost.
Mm.
And I feel like that's where they were going in the TV episode too, because she's wishing for something different. So this necklace falls into her path.
Right.
And then, you know, she makes her way on, you know, to the woods, and then she sees this witch. And it's like, oh, you found my necklace. I was wondering when that went. I really think it's one of those almost like Rumpelstiltskin, right, where the desperation beckoned this creature in, and, you know, then the havoc was unleashed.
Interesting. I like that.
I just think this creature wasn't as Rumpelstiltskinny. Stiltskinny? I don't know. It's hard to say it when you add any at the end, but it wasn't as much of a Rumpelstiltskin as like the original.
Right.
I do feel this was more of like a bumbling witch who just doesn't quite have a hold on her magic, versus the TV episode where it's like, nah, I'm going to trick you into wishes.
Yeah. Malicious, you know, stereotype.
And it was weird. Like, when the whole world disappears and she's thinking about her wish and wakes up in the middle of the night to tell the witch, you know, her wish, tell Clarissa. Clarissa's in her room waiting for the wish.
Right.
So, like, you went to bed with this stranger in your bedroom just waiting? Like, that's weird.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't do that.
Stranger danger.
Stranger very danger.
She had at the beginning this very concrete, like, runaway, stranger danger. And then, you know, a few scenes later, it's like, well, and I went to bed and the witch was in there with me. Like, no, you know, I don't know if it works that way.
But it wasn't like a weird thing. No, I'm pretty sure it was weird.
It was weird. It was very weird.
There's no way for it not to be weird.
Yeah. And they did stay true to the Judith obsession scene.
Yes. That was
which I liked that. That little girl who played Judith, she delivered well. She had quite a range. She played a bully well. Mm-hmm. She played a, like, for lack of a better term, love-struck, like, teen well.
Yeah.
Or she wasn't quite a teen. Love-struck girl. Mm-hmm. And, like, she just did very well with that range that they gave her.
I noticed that, too. Like, it's not often that I notice good acting in these episodes, but yeah, props to her, whatever her name is. You go, girl, if you're listening to this.
You go, girl. Yeah, and speaking of acting, they did change the physical appearance of Samantha in
Yes.
the TV episode, because in the book they're very descriptive about her pale, fine, long blonde hair. And in obviously in the TV episode, they chose this actress who was a brunette. But in the 90s, she actually was in a lot of kids' TV shows. So I imagine they chose her for recognition, like name recognition and face recognition, versus staying true to the character.
Yeah, I thought she looked familiar, but I wasn't sure what I knew her from.
She was cast in a lot of different kids' TV shows. So
She's also in Jason
maybe
X.
that's, yep. So that's probably why they went that route,
Yeah.
because they wanted to bring that face recognition in.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And at the end, they changed the entire ending.
Yeah. It's more of a happy ending, I guess. Although the way you describe the alternate ending is also happy, so I don't really know. Now
But
I'm
I
confused.
also have a twisted mind. So.
No, I'm here for your mind. That sounds creepy,
Aww.
but you know what I mean.
Honestly, I feel like the ending was appropriate for a TV episode for kids.
Yeah.
Kids watching it, because as much as I can kind of understand and appreciate the level of intricacy and messaging going into the ending and like the callback to the beginning,
Mhm.
most 12-year-olds aren't going to process that
Right.
in a book. And so I feel like they took a more direct, appropriate route by Judith making her wish for everyone to basically be obsessed with her. So what happens? She gets turned into a statue for everyone to admire. And I thought that was hilarious. And I do think for a TV show, as much as I am not a fan when movies or TV episodes deviate from a book,
Mhm.
in this case, I do see why that would be appropriate and work.
It was also poetic justice, because think about how
Sure
many
was.
birds are going to be shitting on her.
I didn't even think about that. You're right. You're so right. She's literally a bird stand now.
Yeah.
She's a bird perch.
A bird.
You know what I loved too is, as much as they made Clarissa out to be a villain, when Judith made her wish, Clarissa turns to Samantha and winks at her. Like,
Yes.
she knows what's coming, and like that inside joke between them.
Yeah.
And it made Clarissa a little less witchy, like in a scary way,
Mhm.
in that moment.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I agree. Quite a ride. I think I already know the answer, but which do you prefer?
I'm going to go with the book.
Yeah.
I just think we got more. We got a bigger world. And we're probably going to run into that as we are watching the episodes that are just one
Yeah.
versus two. They have less time, so you lose a lot from the book. So definitely in this case, I prefer the book. What about you?
Same.
Are you sure?
Yeah. There are elements about the TV show that I like, but ultimately I think the book is better for the exact same reason that you said. Like, there's more time to flesh it out, and we sort of miss that with the TV episode.
Yeah, time kind of flies when you've got only 20-something minutes for a TV episode. So,
but I also don't
they do what they can.
Yeah, they do.
I feel like they do the best that they can.
Absolutely. And I think it could have only hurt it to extend it, in all honesty. So I think what we got is fine.
Yeah, for this story, I feel this one didn't have enough meat to be 40-something minutes. I think that them choosing to have just the one episode was appropriate.
Right. Agreed.
Now, with that said, how would you rank this in overall Goosebumps stories that we've read so far? So we're up to 12. We're in the dirty dozen. Where you at?
I'm going to say this is like mid-lower tier for me. Definitely not one of my favorites, but it's got charm. What about you?
I don't know. I feel like it's one of the lower ones for me.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's even like a middle, because as much as it does have moments, like the end and the scene where the entire, world's gone, it overall, I feel, didn't carry me enough to where I'm like, wow, I'm in it. I'm in this. I
Yeah.
want to know what happens. I found myself almost being like, am I almost done?
I know.
I was checking the page count, to be honest.
Yeah, that's
Like,
never
how much
good.
do I have left? Yeah. So, not one of my favorite ones. Did I think it was a bad story? No, not at all. I just think for me, I didn't connect with it as well.
That's fair. Absolutely fair. I think, yeah, this could be bottom 3. I would have to look at the list to verify that, but it could very well be that low.
Yeah. Hello, can you go?
Stay tuned to find out.
What? We have to know. So I have a joke for you.
Oh boy, it's been a while.
Where do psychics buy their crystal balls?
I don't know.
The Sears catalog.
Oh, that's a good one.
Get it?
Yeah. Kids these days won't get it, but like I like it.
Thank you.
Yes.
Well, that's a little wax nostalgic for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I feel like that was appropriate for you.
It was.
Okay, one more.
Okay.
I went to a psychic today. I ended up accidentally breaking her crystal ball. It cost me a fortune.
That's good.
Okay, you get a third because I do everything in threes. That's the magic witchy woman in me.
I love it.
Why did the crystal break up with the diamond? It couldn't handle the pressure of their relationship.
Ooh.
Again, this is going to go over some people's heads, but that's okay. I know you get it.
It's a good joke.
Thank you. So those are my jokes today, guys. Those are the dad jokes for the day. You're welcome. They're like, and we're done listening to this podcast ever. Overall, I would say that this wasn't my strongest book. I love the cover. I love the Jacobus cover even more. And if you have an opportunity to read it, I would say if you have time, give it a go.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say this isn't the biggest one on the list. Like you have to read it, but if you have a chance,
yeah,
why not?
Conceptually, I was pretty pumped for this book, and then it was kind of a letdown, so that may affect my overall opinion right now.
Rating.
Yeah, my overall rating. But like it's fine. It's harmless. It's a quick read. It's fine. It's just compared to a lot of the other books, I can't really recommend it.
I will say though, if you're going to pick, it's okay to skip the TV episode.
Yeah.
Just gonna put that out there.
I think generally it's okay to skip the TV episode. I'm learning.
Right.
So, but we do it because we're completionists.
We're committed.
Hell yeah.
All right, Gary, what is the next book we have coming up?
Our next book is Lucky, number 13. Piano Lessons Can Be Murder.
And we all know how much I love the number 13. 13 is actually a lucky number of mine. So I'm very excited. Hopefully it will pan out with these books.
Yeah.
And hopefully number 13 is amazing. I don't recall reading this one, but the title sounds familiar. And who doesn't love a title like that?
Yeah. I did read this one. This is actually one of the ones I've read more recently.
Really?
Yeah. For some reason, when I was taking piano lessons, I was like, oh, I'm going to read a book about piano lessons. And so I read this one. But that was
How'd that affect
years
your
ago.
piano lessons?
Well, it did not.
It did not. That's good.
It didn't
That's
make me
good.
better
No,
or worse.
no long-lasting trauma. Well, if you expected Goosebumps books to make your piano lessons better, then,
Well,
that's a different topic.
it's true. It's true. My piano teacher was kind of Norman Beatty, so it was
It's kind of fun. I'm a creep. That would be fun for me.
It's just when I think of like who I could compare him to, I'm like, yep, Norman Bates.
Norman Bates. For those that don't know, look it up. Educate yourself.
Oh yeah.
Horror icon. All right. Thanks to everyone for tuning in to another episode of Listeners Beware. Are you looking for more spooky podcast content? Check out 3 Haunted Podcasts, where Ashley and friends talk about all the things that go bump in the night. You can find us at 3hauntedpodcasts.com and anywhere podcasts stream.
And if you want to stay on the nostalgia train, check me out at Wax Nostalgic Network, waxnostalgicnetwork.com, and wherever podcasts and YouTube videos are available.
Until next time.
Action.
Ready? Camera speed, sound speed, all the speed, but not drug speed.
Not drug speed, no. The movie
But
speed.
maybe Keanu speed.
Yes.
Yeah. Same page.
I love it. As she's sobbing and eating a peanut butter sandwich.
As one does. Although I was like, really, where's the jelly? Come on, Sam.
Oh, come on. Yeah,
we don't do just peanut butter.
No, we're not monsters.
We're civilized. Monsters would eat jelly-only sandwiches.
Ooh. Mm-mm.
Yeah. Pure indulgence. So
her mom's going to be like, I don't know what happened to our daughter, but I feel like she was reincarnated into this little bird that keeps hanging around.
This is a little bird that keeps trying to eat our peanut butter sandwiches.
With no jelly.
Tweet, tweet, motherfucker. Judith got bugged.
Oh,
Judith attacked her.
She got what?
It's like, whoa. She got buck.
Buck. That's what I thought you said. I'm not used to that one.
That's sure what I said. Well, that's a word. So, yeah, it was, our girl got a little bit wild there. Mm. And, it probably felt good for Sam to have someone defend her. You see?
I do.
Now you got it.
I've never heard it shortened like that. Yeah, I like that.
It's a Southern thing, I think.
Well, yeehaw.